Okay guys, today I want to talk about something that ICT said himself, and bear in mind he's a really good trader, and this coming from him is something that should make you question and think about your expectations to the market and to day trading. He basically said that you shouldn't focus on getting rich from day trading. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with earning a lot of money from trading, but that shouldn't be your main focus. He said that just take basically what you can from the market, and it doesn't matter if that's like 1K a month or whatever. I mean, for a lot of people that could really help them out financially. And he said himself that to him, if you could do that consistently, then you're rich. And by lowering your expectations to basically what would make you content, profit wise and regarding the financial stuff, then that's a good foundation. Because obviously if you have a funded, let's say 100K account, and you make 1 to 3, then obviously you take home 3K. So it's not like you're leaving money on the table, but at the same time, be content with what the market gives you, with what your plan gives you. Don't necessarily try to force some greater profits, or oh, I'm not satisfied with that, I need more. That's basically his message and what he's preaching. And by lowering your expectations, you make this whole process way easier for yourself, regarding losing streaks, maybe changes in strategy, setbacks, all that kind of stuff, because you're not forcing really big profits and pushing for really high returns every single month. Let's say in this period we will probably see some volatility and maybe some unexpected moves because of the Trump situation. And if you're really aggressive and if you just focus on getting rich, then you could really hurt yourself in a short period of time. And that's meaningless, because as we all know, when we lose, it's often a period of time, it's often a losing streak, and then you go back to regular trading or even going into profit. So by over leveraging and by not staying detached, you could really hurt your account in a short period of time. And this is the same concept that for example in martial arts, when people are training and sparring, if they do light sparring, it's way easier to focus on techniques and learn. But as soon as you increase the intensity and go harder, your fight or flight instincts kick in, and you don't think as much. You don't think about strategy, you just really try to avoid losing, and you also aggressively focus on winning without necessarily using a good strategy. And that makes everything more difficult. And there are no traders who are completely finished learning. You're always a student, you're always learning something new about either yourself, the market, or both. And if you're too emotionally invested because you're either using too high of a leverage or doing something else that distorts your makes it harder for you to basically stay stoic, then you're not learning anything. It's way more difficult for you to maybe change, make a tweak, anything, just make good rational decisions. So that's actually way better. And in some cases it's easier to, at least, let's say that you don't have that high of a leverage, and then after you see that your position has basically tested your stop loss, like it moved against your stop loss a bit, but it didn't stop you out, and then it like basically chopped around in that area before it returned in your favor. And based on time, based on patterns and that kind of stuff, you feel like, or I wouldn't say feel, you know that the probability for your trade to play out now has increased. It's more likely to work out in your favor. Then you could maybe, I wouldn't say increase the lot size to a ridiculous amount, but you could increase it to what you would normally go in with. So you haven't over leveraged, you basically just added the rest when the trade looked better. I mean, that's not like a strategy you should necessarily use, but you get my point. It's easier to do that, because in some cases, when you enter a trade and in a really short period of time it moves a lot against you and maybe it stops you out, but if you just would have waited like 5 minutes, you could have anticipated that and maybe even got a higher return by putting in the rest of the leverage that you would originally use just by waiting 5 minutes. But you get my point. It's not about the strategy, it's not about how much you make, but just like focusing on learning and not necessarily trying to get as rich as possible in a shortest period of time, and being more open to let your trades play out as they're supposed to. And when the time comes, then the market will reward your patience and you will actually make good money. It's just that for a lot of people, they focus way too much on getting rich in a short period of time, and that actually hurts them in the long run. Look at trading more as a tool to give you more financial freedom basically and more opportunities, but not necessarily something that in itself is going to make you really wealthy in a short period of time. Think about trading as something that would increase your income month to month and your savings that you could use to invest long term and actually make your financial situation way better, instead of just thinking that I can get really rich in a short period of time. Because if you're just chasing that, then I mean, it won't necessarily feel the way you thought it would, and in some cases you would actually just get more stressed out, and you're not like ready to handle that kind of pressure and that kind of stress and those type of emotions of making a lot of money in a short period of time. So that's why you also have to develop yourself in the same pace that your trading size, your trading profits increase. You also have to develop yourself as a person, as an individual. It's like the same as maybe someone who takes steroids and builds a lot of muscle, but they tear something, or like the rest of their body can't like adapt as quickly, so they tear something or they hurt themselves just because their muscles grow so fast that the rest of their body can't adapt and expand in the same pace. And that's the same with trading. If, let's say, if you would make 10 times what you're currently making in a month, then you're probably not mentally equipped to handle those type of emotions and that kind of responsibility yet. So just don't worry too much about scaling too quick. Just follow your plan, scale as fast as you safely can, but don't do anything foolish basically, and don't rush too much. That's my message for you today. With that being said, if you follow your plan and you do everything right, then let the market reward you as much as possible. Take home what the market gives you, of course, but don't be too greedy. That's my message.